Good evening, everyone, and welcome to LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis for the 17th of May 2023. So today we have one editorial article which is titled Impunity in Northeast and has been taken from the Indian Express. For the second and the third segments, we will have the news update and the legal news. So in today's editorial article, Impunity in Northeast, it talks about the center's refusal to grant sanction to prosecute 30 army personnel who have been found prima facie guilty of killing 14 unarmed men in Nagaland in December 2021. So before we move on to what happened and why the steps, let's see what the law has to say and what the court has to say against absolute impunity or absolute immunity. So, in the case of extrajudicial execution victim families association versus the Union of India, the Supreme Court ruled against the absolute immunity from trial by a criminal court, even if the offense was committed by an army personnel. A similar view was held in the Naga People's Movement of Human Rights case in 1997, where the constitutional bench mandated a thorough inquiry in every instance of misuse or abuse of powers when the army personnel were operating under the AFSPA. Now, the Manipur Victims Family Association case highlights the institutional lethargy in holding accountable personals for human rights violations. And this is exactly what we see here. So, when we move on to the incident of what happened, we see that there were six local coal miners who were returning in a pickup truck. Now, the 21st Paris Special Forces, they went forward and they killed these six local coal miners. Later, the army claimed that this was unfortunate. This was an unfortunate incident, and it had happened because of a mistaken identity. Now, of course, when you come forward and kill six local coal miners or six local people, people will get enraged. However, things went out of hand, and the enraged locals went forward and set fire on two security vehicles. In order to control the outburst, the army again resorted to shooting and ended up killing seven people. Later on the day, it again resorted to shooting and killed a youth. Now, in order to tackle this situation and look into it, a special investigation team was formed who went forward, carried their investigation, and then made a report. Now, this report identified 30 personnel from the 21st Paris Special Forces who were responsible for the killing. Based on this report, the state went forward to the center and it asked approval from the central government to go forward and prosecute against these army personnel. But the center clearly declined this request. However, if we are to refer to section 3 subsection 10 of the Army Act 1950, we see that there is a law which states that there's a provision that states that people killed did not like the when the army is going forward to kill people, these people who were killed, they did not have any criminal records, and and before they take such actions, they have to prove that there was some sort of an illegal connection, or they had arms, or they were in any manner a possible threat which led to the army to resort to shooting. Now, in principle, the army is supposed to adhere to an exhaustive list of do's and don'ts, which is again issued by the army headquarters, and the famous 10 commandments issued by the chief of army staff while operating under the powers conferred by AFSPA. So, one of these do's state that in case of opening fire or let's say using force against a suspect becomes absolutely necessary, the army personnel must first ascertain that it is essential for the maintenance of public order. Open fire only after due warning is the mandated procedure according to the manual. And as far as possible, cooperation of local civil administration during a raid is a must. Now, great stress was also laid on these codes of conduct by the Supreme Court in its 1997 ruling that upheld the validity of AFSPA. The presumption is that the army is a highly disciplined and accountable force, and any violation of the army code, as per like the section 3, subsection 10 of the Army Act. So, any violation of the army code or violation of even human rights is duly investigated and punished. In Naga People's Movement's verdict, the court had also ruled that Section 4 of AFSPA, which gives the army the power to shoot necessarily, entails an objective assessment of the ground situation that is happening, and a warning to the suspects are given before opening fire. In the case that is in hand, both this highly regarded army ethos and principles and the statutory requirements of Section 4 AFSPA were flagrantly violated. This SIT investigation concluded that the 21st Para Special Forces operations team had not followed the standard operating procedure and the rules of engagement. Two survivors who were traveling on the pickup truck contradicted the army's account that the truck was asked to stop and the army fired upon it only after it tried to flee. So, with this, we move on to the news updates for the day. Firstly, we have Bank of Baroda launches EBG on its digital platform. The reason for launching electronic bag guarantees is to provide a faster turnaround time compared to the traditional paper-based process of issuing inland bank guarantees. The Bank of Baroda claims that EVGs will significantly reduce the average turnaround time from 2 to 3 days to a few minutes. In addition to the Bank of Baroda, other banks like HDFC, SBI, Yes Bank, and Federal Bank already offer EBG facilities. Secondly, we have Ministry of Corporate Affairs introduces CPs. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has established a Center for Processing Accelerated Corporate Exit to streamline the process of removing companies from the MCA register. The purpose of CPs is to reduce the burden on the registry and provide a convenient process for stakeholders to remove their company's name from the register. Harihara Sahu, ICLS, has been appointed as the first registrar of CPs, which will be supervised by the Director General of Corporate Affairs, New Delhi. Thirdly, we have Gopala Praneeth becomes India's 82nd Grandmaster. Praneeth Gopala stunned top seed Hans Niemann of the US in the Baku Open. The win was helped. The win also helped the 15-year-old Gopala Praneeth to become India's 82nd Grandmaster. Praneeth scored his first IM norm at Narcissus 7 in Divchibere, Serbia in October 2018. He was only 11 years old then. He scored wins over GM Eduard Andreev, GM Milko Popchev, IM Igor Solomonoshev, drew with Grandmaster Bogdan Lalich and Grandmaster Miodrag Artsevich. Next up, we have Sourav Ganguly led ICC Cricket Committee abolishes soft signal rule. The soft signal rule involves the on-field umpires making their decisions known before asking the TV umpire to give a verdict. If the replay is not conclusive to take a decision, then the third umpire goes with the on-field umpire's soft signal. The alteration to the rule means that the third umpire will now have the final say on doubtful catches. Next up, we have Himachal CM who launches Him Data Portal. The portal that was developed in collaboration with the Department of Information Technology, Government of Himachal Pradesh, aims to serve as a one-stop platform to provide easy access to more than 200 data sets with all state-specific information available at the highest spatial granularity, including block and village level information. Following that, we have government appoints Arvind Core as CCI chairperson. The appointment of Arvind Core, a 1988 Punjab cadre IAS officer, will be for a period of 5 years from the date of assuming charge or till the date of attaining the age of 65 years or until further orders, whichever is the earliest. Now, there has been no full-time chairperson of the competition regulator since Ashok Kumar Gupta demitted the office in October 2022. Meanwhile, the CCI member Sangeeta Verma had been acting as the chairperson since October. Following the same, we have the Indian Army launches initiative Together for Peace in Manipur. In reaction to the ongoing violence in Manipur, the Indian Army has launched a campaign dubbed Together for Peace in Manipur, which aims to promote togetherness and restore stability. The Army is working with the state government and other stakeholders to instill a sense of security in all communities, particularly those living in remote locations outside the Imphal Valley. The deployment of Army and Assam Rifles columns, as well as unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs, is ongoing to facilitate area dominance exercises and hasten the restoration of normality in Manipur. We have Air Marshal Ashutosh Dikshit taking over as Deputy Chief of Air Staff as the next news update. Air Marshal Ashutosh Dikshit took over as the Deputy Chief of Air Staff, according to the Minister of Defense. Ashutosh Dikshit, an alumnus of the National Defense Academy, was commissioned in the fighter stream on December 6 in 1986. Mr. Dikshit is qualified flying instructor as well as experimental test pilot with over 3,300 hours of flying experience on fighter, trainer, and transport aircraft. He also participated in operations like Safed Sagar and Rakshak. We also have Lieutenant General Devendra Sharma being appointed as Chief of Staff of Western Command. The Lieutenant General is an alumnus of the NDA and IMA. In an illustrious career spanning over 3 decades, Mr. Sharma has held varied and significant appointments wherein he commanded an armored regiment, an armored brigade, an infantry division, and a corps, all in the Western sector. Next up, we have the National Technology Awards of 2023. So, the National Technology Day is celebrated every year on the 11th May to commemorate the country's technological advancements. It was on this day in 1998 India had the prideful accomplishments of Operation Shakti and Hansa 3 test floor. For this year, to mark this momentous occasion, the 25th anniversary of these landmark events was celebrated. Now, the new UPSC chairman has been elected as Manoj Soni. Prior to his appointment in the UPSC, Manoj Soni has served 3 terms as Vice Chancellor. At the time of his joining the MSU of Baroda, Soni was the youngest ever Vice Chancellor of India and the MSU. So, among these 3 terms as Vice Chancellor, these include 2 consecutive terms from August 1st, 2009 to July 31st, 2015 as VC of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Gujarat, and 1 term as VC of the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda from April 2005 to April 2008. Next up, we have Tungnath Temple, built by Pandavas, declared the national monument. Tungnath, located in Rudraprayag, Uttarakhand, is not only one of the highest Shiva temples in the world, but also the highest among the 5 Panch Kedar temples. The central government declared Tungnath a monument of national importance in a notification dated March 27th. The Archaeology Survey of India, led by Devraj Singh Rautela, confirmed that they had been working towards this recognition for a significant period. Next up, we have Saturn dethrones Jupiter as planet with most satellites. Saturn has once again been crowned the king of moons in our solar system. This title of the king of moons in our solar system was briefly snatched off by Jupiter, who held it from February 2023 after astronomers found 12 new moons orbiting the planet, taking its total to 92. But the discovery of a further 62 moons around Saturn has flipped the script once again, and it's now believed to have 145 moons in total. For the legal update today, we have Section 153 of Indian Penal Code. Expressions like malignantly or wantonly give provocation with intent to cause riot indicates higher degree of malice. Now, the Kerala High Court recently explained the scope and extent of Section 153 of the Indian Penal Code 1860, which refers to the offense done malignantly or wantonly to give provocation to the extent of causing a riot. The court further observed that the presence of terms like malignantly or wantonly indicated a higher degree of malice than general. And this was held in the case of Sanjeev S. versus State of Kerala. So this was all for today. For free study materials and TNA PDF slides, please join our Telegram channel, the link of which you can find in the description, or you can scan the barcode that is given on your screen. Do not forget to like and subscribe our channel on YouTube to stay updated with the thorough newspaper analysis as it comes up every day. Thank you and have a good day.